honestly, the more I see from these people at Just Stop Oil, the more I believe that they are black propaganda. If you're unaware with the term, it has nothing to do with race. It's when you create propaganda that seems to come from the opposite side in order to make the opposite side look worse. And from what I can see, every single time these individuals, which are usually young students, whenever they do one of their antics, everyone on social media hates them. Like, even people who support green policies and even environmentalists don't like it. Because what they do is they go to various museums, various works of art, and they try to destroy those works of art. Now, it's interesting because they target works of art that are protected. So, for example, when they went to the Van Gogh painting, the Van Gogh painting was behind a shield of bulletproof glass. So there was no lasting damage. And it's the same here at the King Charles waxwork. The statue itself is not like a Van Gogh painting, and it can be remade. And it wasn't under any lasting damage. So I think that this is just a photo op. Now, if you're looking at the perspective of, well, they're just driving the conversation, they're sparking a conversation, well, the year is 2022. Every single person on the planet Earth is aware of the conversation. Everyone has already taken a side in the debate, and this is not going to sway anyone. In fact, you're going to get more moderate people who aren't on board with the Green New Deal or the environmentalist agenda, and they're going to be against it. So this is why I genuinely think that this is very smart black propaganda. This is very well played out by whomever is funding this, because all of these groups, you know, all of these teenagers, they don't just happen to be grassroots. They're pretty much like someone is funding them. And it's done in order to make environmentalists look bad. And I think it's very effective because I'm looking at social media, I'm looking at what people are saying, and it is effective. There is a downside, though, and many people don't understand this. Social media now is governed by strong terms of service. Like, there are strong enforcements, which are usually left-leaning. And when you see what people are saying in the comment section, usually wishing ill or wishing harm on these individuals, even if it's as a joke, or even if it's a metaphor, or even if it's done as a way to, you know, burn some steam over the internet, but like no physical harm is ever going to be done, it is an opportunity for the people at social media to start banning accounts. So it is also a way, I suppose, for the people who are not on board with the Green New Deal and all of these left-leaning policies to expose themselves and get their accounts terminated over a frivolous thing. Because they can't terminate people's accounts if there's actually a conversation and a debate. For example, like, all right, well, you're turning off all of the oil and all of the energy. How are people going to warm their houses? Like, I'm very concerned about the lower standing of living and whatnot, right? Like, they can't ban you from that conversation. But if they show you a couple of chuckleheads trying to ruin a Van Gogh painting or something like that, and people start wishing them harm on social media, oh, well, that is a violation of TOS. Then you do get your account banned. So my advice to people is to be very careful what they say, right? Especially if you have, like, for example, a Google Mail, and you write some nasty comments on YouTube, you can lose access to your Gmail account. And if you happen to have a job where you use that, and you talk with clients and customers, right? It might not be a good thing. Same on Twitter. Like, you may lose your Twitter. And if you happen to have a place at a company where they're looking at your Twitter, they'll be like, oh, why did you get banned? Oh, hate speech. Oh, well, does the HR lady know about it? Maybe she should be informed. So, you know, like, don't throw away your reputation on stuff like this. Because at the end of the day, I get it. People like blowing off steam. You know, they like sending mean stuff on the internet. But, like, if they were in front of you, chances are, whoever you are, it wouldn't be a violent encounter. Especially when these people are teenagers and they're attention seekers, which is probably why they're even doing it. They want their 10 seconds of fame in the spotlight. And they might even do black propaganda, as I mentioned. Like, it's a very smart way of discouraging people from being part of the environmentalist movement, because then it's like, oh, so you're with those crazies? Like, really? Like, that's your movement, right? So guilt by association is a strong thing in modern culture, and it works, especially in civilized circles. So they're doing God's work, as they would say. What I do find interesting is that regarding the Van Gogh painting, this is what the internet found out. And for some reason, the media doesn't want to follow the trail. But when they did it, there was a Guardian reporter at the scene with a professional camera, and he was able to record their whole shtick. And that is the same Guardian reporter which recorded that, who happened to be on the scene, which then wrote an article. Now, obviously, there's many explanations for this. The more charitable explanations is that he just happened to be at the scene with the professional cameras and the crew, and he happened to record that, so when he went to the Guardian headquarters, they gave him the ability to write an article about it, since he was the one. Or, there is a more uncharitable explanation that he was in on it. Which one do you think it is? And by the way, being in on it can also mean two things. Like, number one, he was paid to be in on it. Or number two, they just called him up and they told him, hey, we're going to do this. In which case, it means that he was aware of a crime about to be committed, and he didn't call the authorities because he wanted to get the headline. It's up to you to decide. I personally find it very interesting that other publications aren't looking in on the lead. Because, again, like, you can check it out. You can see the name of the person which took the picture, who was on the scene when it happened, and the person who wrote the article, and, should raise at least a couple of questions. I'm not accusing him of anything, but it should raise some questions. At least, like, talk to the man and ask him, well, how did you happen to be there? Isn't that like a sane question to ask? Like, how did you happen to be literally in that moment with your professional equipment at that museum, and you managed to capture the event? And if he says, oh, well, I was covering something else, then, well, you follow it up and you go with the Guardian and you're asking him, so did you send the guy at the museum to cover something? Did you actually send him there, or is he lying? Right? Like that's how a normal society would function if we had a free and thinking for themselves press. Let's put it like that. Let me know what you guys think, though. And I'll see you in the comment section. Take care.